All right, all right, all right. It is Saturday night. You know what time it is. It is time for the mothership. You see the man of the hour, Mr. James, pouring something special he's going to tell us about. He's already got that smoky smoke in his mouth, and I know he's wearing something fresh on his shirt. So go ahead, James. Tell us what you're drinking, what you're smoking, and what you're wearing before we hit it up with That's Just Nubian.
Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. This is the Nubian Sumo back again with the Sideline Junkies Wrestlemaniacs, working our way toward WrestleMania weekend, or WrestleMania week, I should say. It's a full week now these days. And before we go into That's Just Nubian, I'll go ahead and let y'all know about my Cusano Nicaragua Esteli, finished in a Habano wrapper, which should go very well with my monkey shoulder scotch. Very smooth, very mellow. So these should pair very well. And as far as my t-shirt goes, in honor of the just passed NWA new pay-per-view that just came out, Back on the Attack, I figure I'd break out Sweet Charlotte for you.
Very nice.
Little something on the back, yeah?
Ah, I like it. I like it.
So let's go ahead and get started because there's a lot to go over. And we'll start off with MLW. Of course, they'll be having their Never Say Never event on Wednesday, which will be a free event. It's going to be 3 matches starting at 7 o'clock on the YouTube channel on Wednesday. It'll pretty much be Injustice versus Contra. The two factions, two of the main factions that are going on in MLW right now.
Okay.
You got Myron Reed versus Davari, of which you probably remember from 205 Live and Impact.
Aria Davari?
Yes, Aria Davari. Yes, he's in MLW now. He's done some appearances in NWA as well, and New Japan Strong. So there's going to be a lot of guys that I'm going to mention tonight that are doing that circuit. So that's going to be one match: Myron Reed versus Davari. You got Jordan Oliver, who's part of Injustice, versus Simon Gotch, who you remember from the Vaudevillains in NXT. And then you have Jacob Fatu, who is one of the Inoue family members, who's the world Major League Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion right now, going up against Calvin Tankman. And I was telling you about him a few weeks ago. He calls himself Heavyweight Hustle. He's like a black version of Bill DeMott. You know, he's a big guy, very athletic, comes off the top rope very well. You know, so that should be those two big men should be going at it real good, and it should be a very good match. So again, that's going to be on YouTube, on the MLW YouTube channel at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. So you can kind of catch that before you go to AEW. Catch some of that before you go to AEW. Usually they're only 1 hour shows, so you might be able to catch all of it before AEW starts. Or you can wait till after AEW and just see the replay on their YouTube channel.
Okay.
Then we're going to go to Impact, where you have the Rebellion pay-per-view that they've moved, actually. It was actually supposed to be on Saturday, April the 24th, but they decided to move it to that Sunday, the 25th. So they're still working on the card. The only 2 matches that they have announced so far are the tag team rematch between the champions Fiend Juice and the Good Brothers, and the title versus title match between Rich Swann and Kenny Omega. So winner takes all on that one. So you're also going to have Hardcore Justice that'll be happening on April the 10th. That's going to be on their Impact Plus channel on their app, which has now been announced is going to be completely booked by Tommy Dreamer.
Really?
So this is going to be it's going to be Hardcore Justice is just as it sounds. It'll be their version of Extreme Rules or ECW type matches, stipulation matches. So they haven't announced any matches for that yet. They've gone around teasing him going and asking people to be involved. So we're not sure as to what the matches are yet, but we'll get to that once they make those announcements. Now, going to NWA, as I mentioned earlier, they had their Back to the Attack pay-per-view back on the 21st, of which the returning Tyrus, who you know is the former Brodus Clay, Funk is back on a roll, and he is established himself as being a new wrestler for NWA, who beat one half of the World Tag Team Champions, JR Kratos. You had a four-way match between Crimson, who I'm not sure if you know who he is, but he was a former wrestler in Impact back in the day, and he's the brother of Amazing Red. Jax Dane, who is a former NWA World Heavyweight World Tag Team Champion. Jordan Clearwater, who is one of the new indie darlings right now, who everybody's looking at and looking to see where he ends up in the near future, and a newcomer by the name of Slice Boogie, who's been around, who's a guy claims that he's from New York, Queens, and he is he's a newcomer. Well, he's only been in business for like maybe 2 or 3 years, but he's the one who ended up winning the match. So I think they're going to kind of push him a little bit to see what happens with him. Now, there was a number one contenders match for the women's world championship, being that Serena Deeb is hurt.
Right.
So Thunder Rosa wound up losing to Camille, who is a member of Strictly Business, which is Nick Aldis's faction with Tom Lattimore. And, you know, those two are, Camille and Lattimore are an item. There was a fourth member named Royce Isaacs, who was a tag team partner of Lattimore's. They call themselves the Wild Card, but he's now in AEW. He's been doing AEW Dark and AEW Evolution here for the last couple of weeks. So, but Camille ended up winning the number one contendership, and she will be challenging for that title at some point whenever Miss Deeb gets back in the roster. Now you had Trevor Murdoch, the national heavyweight champion, defend and retain his title against Chris Adonis. Now, if you don't know who Chris Adonis is, that's the former Chris Masters from the WWE, the master of the Master Lock, the full Nelson that Bobby Lashley is now using. So he ended up getting hurt by him. Adonis decided that he wanted to put him in the Master Lock and hurt him. So now Murdoch is on the shelf right now and will be out for a while. And we'll see what happens with the belt, if they do something with the belt, depending on how long he's going to be out. Elijah Burke, going by the Pope in NWA, the current World Television Champion, went up against the guy I just mentioned a little while ago, Tom Lattimore of the Strictly Business, and wound up defending his title. So he's still the World Television Champion. And Nick Aldis defeated Aaron Stevens, one half of the World Tag Team Champions, who is the former Sandow from WWE. And in what they considered a memorial match for the deceased Joseph Hudson, aka Josephus, aka the question mark.
Yeah.
He was going by those monikers, and he was wrestling under a hood as the question mark at the time that he passed away. So they did a memorial match for him, and this was that match. And Aaron Stevens wound up losing that match. And then they had a ceremony, a small ceremony and speech after the lights went out. They came back and on the air, and then Aaron Stevens had a speech that he made. All the wrestlers that were involved in the pay-per-view were in the ring. They had his flag of Monrovia there with them, and his wife was there with the mask in her hand, and the mask was prominent in the match as well. So now they did have their first show on Fight TV on Tuesday, where Melina actually came back and reached out to Thunder Rosa. They had their issues before the pandemic, and the filming stopped. And the filming had stopped on their second round of tapings that they did. So she reached out to her, and Thunder Rosa was like, "Well, yes, I appreciate you, but I've been doing all this by myself. I think I'm good on my own, and well, if you need me, I'm here. If you want to be a manager or whatever, I'm here. And that kind of ended weirdly. They have added, they have Joe Galley and Tim Storm as their announce team on that show, but Tim Storm being a former NWA heavyweight champion that wound up losing his belt to Aldis. But they have added Velvet Sky to the announce team. So
Really?
Velvet Sky from the Beautiful People and Impact has been added to their announce team. So they got a 3-person desk now. As I said earlier, Murdoch has been hurt by Adonis, so we don't know how long that's going to last. And you had some matches going on where Tyrus ended up in a match. Now he actually came out during he didn't have a match, but he came out during a promo that Elijah Burke was cutting and made the announcement that he is now full-time with the NWA, and he has even gotten himself a manager. Would you like to take a guess at who that manager might be?
I don't know. That's kind of interesting. I don't know who. I'm assuming it's a female, or is it a male?
It is a male.
Ooh. Trying to think who.
Think older.
Not Jim Cornette or Jimmy Hart.
No.
Not that old.
No. Well, that old, but no.
James A. Dillon?
No. He's never been a manager before, but he's a former wrestler.
That could be anybody, James.
I'm telling you to think around NWA, think around, think around like the 70s. A Southern wrestler from the 70s.
Why you give me trivia at this time of the night?
Okay, well, I was just seeing if you could come up with who it might be.
That's just wide. I mean, without some like matches and stuff like that, or who they rival with. I mean, that could be almost anybody.
Well, I don't want to give it away. I mean, but I'll go ahead and tell you. Tyrus's new manager is the Universal Heartthrob, Austin Idol.
What? I wouldn't have guessed that.
I know you would. I just wanted to see you hanging from that string.
Austin Idol, like God. That was not.
Now there is history with Austin Idol in the NWA. As I said, he was a former wrestler back in the days when the NWA was prominent. Now he was manager for Nick Aldis when he beat Tim Storm for the World Heavyweight Championship. So he was at ringside and did help him in acquiring that championship. So now he is the manager of Tyrus. and we'll see how that goes. Now, there was a match for the number one contendership for the World Television Championship that's held by Elijah Burke, the Pope, where Fred Rosser, the former primetime player with Titus O'Neil, is won that three-way match with Matt Cross. Matt Cross, I don't know if you remember him from Lucha Underground. He was Son of Havoc under the mat. So him and a guy named Marche Rocket, who's kind of mid-card indie player right now. He's been around for about 4 or 5 years. So he's up and coming. I've seen him on Impact a few times, but he's kind of moving around and trying to find his own way. So he'll be somebody to look out for. And then the main event was strictly business. Aldis and Nick Aldis and Latimer with Chris Adonis versus the Pope, Aaron Stevens, and J.R. Kratos, the World Tag Team Champions, where strictly business ended up getting the Duke. But there was some animosity between Stevens and Kratos during the match where, Kratos was trying to be heel, but Stevens has seen the error of his ways and wants to do right by the question mark. So, he's not doing he's not doing the cheating. He's turning babyface. So we'll see what happens with the belts on that and what happens with that tag team moving forward. Now, next up, we'll go to New Japan, where the finals of the New Japan Cup Japan ended with Will Ospreay beating Shingo Takagi. And there was an interview, usually as per regular, whoever wins the match in the main event always gets the microphone at the end of the night for New Japan. And Ospreay got the mic and invited Kota Ibushi into the ring, who was at ringside doing Japanese commentary during the match. And he invited him in and told him, I'll do anything for that belt. I love that belt. I love the idea of that belt. And I love that belt more than anything and anybody. And then he hit an Oz cutter on B. Priestley, his girlfriend.
What? Well,
taking his trophy and taking his British Heavyweight Championship, his Rev Pro British Heavyweight Championship, and leaving her in the ring with the young boys to put the ice packs on her and everything. So, yeah. So I guess that's his way of saying, I'll do anything to get this belt. If I'll give my girlfriend, the woman that I love, the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with, an Oz cutter to show you how much I want that belt, what do you think I'll do to you? So there's that. So that match will take place on April the 4th for Sakura Genesis. And also that during that final show, they had the return of Yo, who is one half of Roppongi 3K, managed by Rocky Romero, who's been out with an injury for like the last year or so. And so he's back now, and he says that he wants to challenge for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. So they've given him and Show that match will happen in the semi-main event for Sakura Genesis. So that'll happen on April the 4th. Now, you also have Wrestling Satsuma no Kani, which is going to be a 2-night show that they're going to be putting together after the Sakura Genesis ends. And then that'll move into the Wrestling Dantaku, which is one of their main shows. So they'll have like about 2 or 3 week lead up to that, going into that show. So that will be they'll be working on that once everything is done with the next pay-per-view after Sakura Genesis. Now they have finally put together the bracket for the New Japan Cup United States version. They had the last two qualifying matches on yesterday. So on next week, on Friday, you'll have Clark Connors versus Leo Rush in the first round. You have Brody King versus Chris Dickinson. You have Ren Narita versus Tom Lawler, and Hikuleo versus Fred Rosser. Now, again, you got Fred Rosser, New Japan, Fred Rosser, NWA. So yeah, so just like Davari, you got like I said earlier, it's back to the ways of old, where you got a lot of guys who are doing multiple organizations and showing up and putting in work. So it's good to see that again.
Yep.
Now now finally we'll go into the highlight of the week, which was Ring of Honor 19th anniversary pay-per-view that happened on yesterday. So I was able to watch that, and it was a very good pay-per-view, I must say. Ring of Honor has the anniversary shows and the final battles are both very good pay-per-views for them. So they always put in their best work on these two. So in the pre-show, they had Shane Taylor Promotions defending their six-man tag team titles against Mexa Squad, which is Flamita, Ray Orus, and Bandito, of which Mexa Squad, Flamita, wound up being upset with Bandito for getting pinned and not winning the match. So he decided that he was going to book for himself, and they put together a three-way match against each other for the main show. So that'll come up a little later. Now you have Brian Johnson, who defeated Danhausen, Eli Isom, who's now returning here within the last couple of shows, and LSG, who were in a four-way match to determine the number one contender for the television championship, which at this point is held by Dragon Lee. Now it did come to pass that Dragon Lee ended up busting his eardrum at some point and was back in Mexico at the time that he did it. So he had to have surgery to repair his eardrum, but of course he couldn't fly with a busted eardrum. So he wound up not being scratched from the card. Now, at this time, during this part of the pay-per-view, Dragon Lee is the World Television Champion and one half of the World Tag Team Champions. So what do? They insert Kenny King into his place for both matches.
Wow.
So both of the belts, both of the titles are being defended during this pay-per-view. So Kenny King, in place of Dragon Lee, defends the television title against the Foundation's Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, and Williams ends up winning the match. So he is now the new Ring of Honor World Television Champion. Flip Gordon ended up defeating Mark Briscoe in a match. Dalton Castle defeated Josh Woods in a grudge match. This ended up being they'd already had two matches, went and beat each other in both matches, 1-1. So this was the rubber match, and Josh Woods being the tag team partner of Silas Young. Silas was trying to be the manager and try to tell Josh Woods what to do during the match, and they ended up breaking up their tag team. So that you'll be seeing some matches between the two of them here soon. Jay Briscoe ended up winning his match against EC3. Bandito wound up winning his three-way against Ray Orus and Flamito, and that has caused the Mexa Squad to now break up. So and Flamito, being the one who is the most upset about what's going on, is pretty much got a beef with Bandito. So we'll probably be seeing some matches between Flamita and Bandito at some point.
Right.
Now, you knew it had to happen. You knew it was coming. the cinematic match has made it to Ring of Honor. And they decided to give it to Matt Taven and Vincent, which they've had a, a grudge going on since the breakup of the Kingdom. And it's been going on for like a year and a half now. So they gave them a cinematic match at the Police Athletic League Hall in Fall River, Massachusetts, which is where they started their careers.
Oh wow!
They had this meeting. They had this meeting at this place, and the place has like 2 or 3 different rooms with rings in it, and they have this one big auditorium with where they can do shows and whatnot. So that's where they had the match all over the building, but they ended up in that ring in the auditorium, and they had this real big bump at the end where they were up on the raft, up on this
Scaffolding?
no, not a scaffolding, but like an upper area.
Catwalk or
No,
mezzanine?
not mezzanine. Yeah, mezzanine. So they had a seating area up in this mezzanine, and they were wrestling up there, and it looked like they were coming over the edge, trying to throw each other over the edge anyway. But then some mysterious guy in overalls came through and pushed them both off of the mezzanine through a banner that Vincent had put up saying "Welcome back, Vinny," or "Welcome back, Matt Taven," and they dropped through that onto a table onto the floor. So he comes around, he checks on Matt Taven. Matt Taven seems to know who he is from his facial expression. And then he goes to Vincent, checks on Vincent, picks him up, and walks him out of the building. So it's pretty much a no contest. So we'll see how that ends up. Now, Marie Kanellis Bennett was brought out and introduced as the newest member of the board of directors for Ring of Honor. And she, yeah, and she made the announcement that there will be a tournament this summer for the vacant Women's World Championship, and this announcement has now brought out the Allure, which is the upgrade to the Beautiful People. So you had Angelina Love, who was original member of the Beautiful People,
right?
And her partner came out, and they were talking about, how do I feel like I'm a 7-time world champion? Why should I have to prove myself to be in this tournament or whatever? And Canellis was like, well, that's good, but you're gonna have to do something to get into this because you haven't been in the ring for a year. So you're going to have a match on our Ring of Honor television against someone that we feel that deserves a match against you, somebody that you did wrong and they need their redemption. So you're going to be wrestling our backstage announcer, Quinn McKay.
What? What?
Back in November, the Allure had a interview or a promo that they were cutting with this backstage announcer who does all of their intros for the shows, and the ring does interviews and stuff like that. Kind of like a Charlie Caruso or that type. And she said something that upset Angelina Love, so they attacked her and it hurt her leg, and she was out for a while. So apparently she is a wrestler because, they have said that she has wrestled a few times and she did train in the Ring of Honor dojo. So they're going to give her redemption match against Angelina Love at some point on Ring of Honor television. So you can be looking for that. So Jonathan Gresham defended his Pure Championship against Dak Draper. Kenny King is back for the to defend the tag team championships against with Bestia Del Ring, who is the father of Roosh, of Dragon Lee, and of Mystico. Mystico being Sin Cara in WWE. So they're all brothers.
James, I know you deep into it, but look at this fool.
Yeah, I know over there looking like old dirty bastard.
No. First of all, good evening, gentlemen. I'm glad to see you guys. Just wanted to jump on for a minute because I was going over the results for Fastlane. I believe I won the pay-per-view, so I had to throw up my W, as you can see.
What do you mean a minute? We got a whole show.
Hey, I got a little something going on, got a little something brewing. But I had to jump on and gloat because I won the next pay-per-view. W's up.
We weren't counting that, so.
Wow.
I defended your honor last week, and now we're not counting it?
No, we're not counting it. Maybe if you stay longer, we'll count it. But since you got something brewing, we're not brewing any W's tonight.
Love
That's
you
what
guys
James
too.
said. That's what James said.
Love you guys too.
That's what James said.
I got nothing to do with that.
Go on, get through that, so Nubian, and I'll do my best to rejoin in a minute. I just wanted to jump on and say, hey, let's count that W. You know, Fastlane 2021, and I won the tiebreaker too. So
yeah, I saw you won. I saw you won the tiebreaker. I was hot about that thing. I was like, yeah, he won. Oh well, he won the tiebreaker. I'm sure he won everything else. So I kind of gave up after that.
That's why Doc doesn't let me pick tiebreakers.
Mania arcade game.
I won it. But speaking of games, real quick, guess what I got coming in the mail on tomorrow?
What is that?
Siphon Field.
Ooh, good game. Good game.
So,
what system?
PS1. So that's on the way to be here tomorrow.
You gonna play it?
Of course I am.
Okay, just checking.
I'm gonna try to beat it without the cheat codes this time.
Good luck with that.
But y'all go ahead. Let me go ahead. I gotta put a shirt on, so I gotta go get myself together. I'll jump back on in a minute, but I just had to come back.
I'll just
no,
hell no.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean,
no,
there's no shame in the game.
Oh, there's plenty. There should be.
We can do it.
You leave them 38 C's in that damn shirt.
Hey.
I'll be back. Y'all continue. I'll be back.
I may be shirtless by then, so don't worry about it.
Oh Lord, no.
See what you started? Okay, so
why was hating on the man?
I don't know.
If I was in the ring, you know what I'm saying?
No, you ain't in the ring.
I can have
you ain't in the ring.
What if I just have, like one arm in and then just be
No. We're having none of that. So okay, two more matches and I'm done. And we can get started with the show. So Kenny King got put together with Bestia Del Ring, who is the father, like I said, of Roosh and Dragon Lee. And they were defending the tag titles against Tracy Williams, the now new television champion, and Rhett Titus, who is Kenny King's former tag team partner in the All Night Express back in the day. So for those who don't know the history, All Night Express was the World Tag Team Champions for Ring of Honor. Kenny King was under a contract that was about to expire. He had made a handshake agreement that he was going to stay around for a certain amount of time to work him out of the storyline so he could do whatever he wanted, that they could do whatever they were going to agree to do with him. But he ended up leaving and going to TNA, going to Impact, without doing it the proper way. So the tag titles had to be dropped. They had to go through get together a new champion. And Rhett Titus was left in the lurch and whatnot. And for like a good 9 years, he was like going through the motions, trying to get himself back on top again. And now after last night, he and Tracy Williams are now the new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. So Tracy Williams is a double champion, and Rhett Titus is a tag champion again. And with Jonathan Gresham retaining the Pure Championship, they have the foundation has most of the championships in Ring of Honor at this moment. They're only missing 2, of which one of those 2 is the World Championship, which is being defended by Roosh in the main event against Jay Lethal, the former tag team champion with Jonathan Gresham at one time. So that match goes, and Roosh ends up winning that match.
Really?
Yes, with a little bit of help, he wound up winning that match. And at the end of the match, the Foundation and La Facción Ingobernable, which is Roosh, Bestia del Ring, Dragon Lee, and Kenny King with Amy Rose, wound up getting jumped. Now, in the match, during the tag team championship match, Amy Rose ended up trying to push a chair into the ring for Bestia del Ring, but instead of handing it to him, she slid it to him, and he got upset, wound up getting attacked in from the back, and wound up getting pinned. So they ended up ousting her. She ended up taking a spear from Bestia del Ring, and they fired her. Now, this is significant because she is the only manager in Ring of Honor history to hold the champions, to manage the champions for the television, world, and tag team championships. So, so they wound up ousting her. Now, after the main event was over, La Facción de Gubernable got into it with the Foundation. They started fighting each other. Then Brody King came out.
I'm about to say Brody Lee showed up.
I mean, that's where that. I mean, all these Brodies and whatnot. That's the first thing I'm surprised I didn't say.
Jumped off the show and looked that up immediately. And Brody
Lee. Right. So Brody King comes out and he says, I'm tired of coming after y'all and coming after that belt, and y'all always outnumbering me. So now I got the numbers. So then Tony Deppen comes out. Chris Dickinson, you've heard that name a couple of times tonight, comes out. And Homicide returns to Ring of Honor.
What?
To join for this new faction that has not been named yet. But yes, it was a surprise to everybody that Homicide has shown up in Ring of Honor, the former Ring of Honor World Champion, and he did hit Cop Killer on Kenny King.
Oh my gosh!
So yes, it was good to see them. It was good to see that happening. We'll see what happens with Ring of Honor moving forward, and that's so Nubian. I know it took a while, but that's what it is. That's what it is. I try to get all the information out. Now, I know you got something on the list, but I wanted to bring something up to you that's rather interesting. Now, I don't know if everybody's heard about this, but there are going to be some programming moves that are going to be happening after WrestleMania week. So it is being confirmed that Impact Wrestling will be moving from Tuesdays to Thursdays, starting on next week.
Interesting.
So, now you also have NXT moving from Wednesdays to Tuesdays after WrestleMania. So now this gives us a full week of wrestling every day of the week. Monday night being Raw and AEW Dark Evolution. Tuesday being NXT, AEW Dark, and NWA. Wednesday being AEW and Ring of Honor. Thursday being Impact. Friday being SmackDown and New Japan Strong. And Saturday being MLW, with Sunday being your pay-per-view days. So the week is now full of wrestling, folks. You got no excuse to watch wrestling from now on at some point during this week.
That's good, but also if you're trying to DVR at all, your only download day is Sunday. So that means that your entire day, one day, is going to be wrestling if you watch everything. Or
And
people going to be turning to those YouTube clip down compilations. People, take the 3 hour Raw and make it 45 minutes just to try to understand what the heck is going on. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out, at least
yeah,
for
it
the
will.
weeks as people get used to it.
Well, you have some of those things like the NWA shows that you may be able to catch on Fight TV whenever you're able to catch it because they'll have the reruns on there. Or if they decide to put them on YouTube at some point, you'll have them there. AEW Dark and Evolution, those are on YouTube pretty
Okay.
much. So you can catch those on and if you got like a Fire Stick or something, and there's certain ways you can pick those things up on a Fire Stick too. So yeah, there's ways to get around it, but there's a lot of wrestling out there these days now. So it's a good time for wrestling.
Yep, full takeover. So speaking of, well, I guess segueing into NXT takeovers, but more so, you really just tapped on the next thing we're going to cover, and that is what exactly does WrestleMania week look like? Since we're pretty much in the final countdown, the final hours, so to speak, of prep and transition and storyline building and climaxing for WrestleMania. So I wanted to take a moment to just kind of look at the war table, so to speak, of what's happening during WrestleMania week. So Sunday the 4th, you guys talked about it last week as I left the programming notes for that. The network sunsets. I don't know if it's going to sunset at 12:01 a.m. on the 4th of April, or if it's going to be at 11:59 p.m. on the 4th. So I'll be watching on both ends of the spectrum to see exactly what time that sunset. Have already transitioned a lot of over to Peacock, and when you try to access some things, it will not let you. It tells you need to go to the Peacock network for the free side or whatever it may be able to access that content. I will tell you, heed my warning, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to participate and watch wrestling. Do not do the 4.99 version if you are trying to watch anything wrestling. 9.99 needs to stay the price point that you want to be at. Case in point, I watched over the past couple days on my lunch break the Broken Skull sessions with Randy Orton. We'll get into that a little bit later on. It now has commercials. Watching month ago Broken Skull session of any one of them on the network, it just streamed straight. So there was at least, I believe, four fade to black, and then it picks back up moments where they cut it to insert commercials. So yeah, 9.99, no commercials. 4.99, you're gonna get pissed because you're in the middle of watching some content. The pay-per-views are going to be commercial free, but everything else is going to have commercials. So if you're used to just being able to watch the WWE content, and then T-Mobile commercial pops up, you're going to be like, what the hell? Or even a Peacock commercial pops up for 60 seconds, you're going to be like, what the hell? So stick with the $9.99 price point if you're going to switch to Peacock for WrestleMania. So I just wanted to put that out there. So sunsetting of the network starts WrestleMania week. Monday, as normal, go home show for Raw for WrestleMania. Tuesday, the 6th, is going to be the airing of the Hall of Fame induction and acceptance ceremony that is pre-taped. That will be Peacock only, not on the traditional network, Peacock only. And just to give folks a reminder of who was in the 2020 and the 2021 Hall of Fame, because they're going to do both in this one Tuesday show. We have the Bella Twins for 2020, Jushin Thunder Liger under 2020, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL, the NWO proper being Hogan, Hall, Nash, and X-Pac, and who potentially could have been a headliner being Batista for the 2020 inductees. Unfortunately, scheduling conflicts is going to have him not be accepting his induction this year. They're going to push it probably at his request to maybe next year, depending if schedule works fine with hopefully no COVID. He will be able to do that. He put that request in this past week so that way he could actually thank the fans for backing him and supporting him and just following and being there for him throughout his career. So that's a 2020 lineup that's going to be inducted this Tuesday, April 6th. Now for the 2021 side of things, we've got Eric Bischoff, Molly Holly, Rob Van Dam, who was just announced, Kane, who was just announced, the Great Khali, who was just announced, and we still have one more inductee to be named. Will be going into the 2021 Hall of Fame. So if I had to guesstimate, I'm quite sure it's probably just going to be, well, if they do it in the arena, then it'll be like normal. But otherwise, it could be some pre-taped introductions and then pre-taped acceptance. I don't know how it's going to look. But that is Tuesday, the Hall of Fame. Then we go into the meat and potatoes. Wednesday is night one of the NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver pay-per-view. Thursday is night two of NXT Stand and Deliver. Then, nice little slide in there that we found out this week. On Friday the 9th, AEW is going to have an untelevised event at Daly's Place. So I'm quite sure they're going to do some things that's going to cause a stir and net the gossipers and everybody else that's going to be watching, tweeting, and texting and doing all those lovely things at that event. There's probably going to be some major things that's going to occur that is going to have a direct correlation to Dynamite the following week and the other shows. And then after Friday, we talk Mania. Saturday, the 10th, WrestleMania 37, night one. And then Sunday proper, the 11th, WrestleMania 37, night two. So that's a whole week of WrestleMania.
Now, you also have NXT UK doing NXT Prelude on the 8th. And that will be done because of the time difference. That'll be done during the day. And they have like a 2 or 3 o'clock start time on that. And you got the WWE UK Championship being defended by Walter against Rampage Brown.
I'm getting there.
You were ending it, man.
I'm getting there, Speedy. I'm getting there. Because
No. I'm talking about on that pay-per-view, he's defending the championship against Rampage Brown.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about NXT.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was getting there. I was going to mention Walter doing double duty.
Oh, okay.
But you already said that part.
You be hating on UK, so I'm just trying to give NXT UK love.
I got nothing against the UK. UK just unfortunately has been a little bit slower to start, as we all know, and now it's slower to restart. So it hasn't, in my opinion, gotten to the super fold as of yet. But that don't mean you also can't cover that doing That's Just Nubian, since you all over in that area anyway, young man.
I can add it to it. I figure I'm doing 4 or 5 others ones anyway right now,
Hey man, so, we gotta get our money's worth.
I'll start adding it in then. That'll be 6. It's all good.
I can
make That's Just Nubian an hour if you want me to.
I believe it. That's too much Nubian for one show.
Because I now have access to Pro Wrestling Noah and All Japan, Stardom, and Shimmer.
Yeah.
I can bring the heat if you want me to. This will be Joe Pedicino show from back in the day.
Oh God. So with that being
Hold
ironed
on,
out,
hold on. We got we
we
got
ain't got we ain't got time for
we
it.
got we got we got somebody else jumping in. Oh
we ain't got
God, he's
we ain't
come
got
back,
time for
people.
wiggity whack. We ain't got time for wiggity whack. Keep it back, man. We ain't got no time. We done already covered WrestleMania week. You got the S on the chest for extra late. Turn your mic on. We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Why y'all hate me?
We can't hear you slapping on them double D's.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah. Hey, I've been bench pressing, man. I've been doing work. I done lost pounds.
You're supposed to be naked. The only bench you've been pressing is the one you were sitting on. All right, so we covered WrestleMania week and how that's going to iron out. But the big question is, what does those shows start to look like? So I'm going to go down what the matches are thus far for the bulk of WrestleMania week, so that way we can answer the question that's I'm posing you guys next. Is AEW capable of surviving WrestleMania week? And the reason why I asked that is because this week's show, in my opinion, was a phone in. It was one of those, I would even call it really like a building show. It was just a show. It didn't have the oomph that we really would like to have seen, especially this close to WrestleMania. But that's just me. So,
They do that every year. The two shows before WrestleMania are always garbage. So every
well, I
year.
would give them a pass for last year because, everybody was trying to do whatever they could. So
Well,
that
even before that, though.
I
Even
know
before that.
we talked about that 2 years ago, technically. But I was hoping that this year, coming out of more restrictions being lifted and more opportunities and things that they're setting up, that these shows will be bangers every single time, especially if you're pushing two other shows, trying to get those out there and get people to watch those. You want to have transition that Dynamite is segueing into everything else. But yeah, this was a phone in. So let's talk about NXT Stand and Deliver night one on Wednesday. You've got a gauntlet match. I'm sorry, a gauntlet eliminator match for the North American Championship title shot on night two to go against Johnny Gargano. So competing in that one is Pete Dunne, Dexter Lumis, Bronson Reed, Kushida, LA Knight, Roderick Strong, Austin Theory, Cameron Grimes, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Tyler Russ, Leon Ruff, and Jake Atlas. So they're all going to be going through a gauntlet eliminator match. You also have the NXT Tag Team Championships on the men's side. It's a triple threat between MSK, the Grizzled Young Vets, and Legado del Fantasma. Uh, you have the NXT UK. Here you go, James. Walter doing double duty, or his second one, going up against, it was established this week, Tommaso Ciampa, who, just like me, needs to shave and go back bald. I mean, I don't know. He was looking kind of grandpa-ish this week. Yeah, you can go ahead and join that anyway. We got to get smooth, daddy.
Nah, I'm going. This is my COVID look. I'm going with the Tommaso Ciampa look.
Well, you
I'm
better go
getting there.
get that vaccine so you can cut that hair, man. And then rounding out the night on night one thus far, they could be adding something this week, but this is the last match that's booked currently, and that is your NXT Women's Championship, Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez. So just looking at that, we know that the Gauntlet Eliminator is going to take up most of the show. So these standard delivers are going to be 2 hours. So they're not going to go over in time. So 2 hours to the spot, and then you'll be good to go. So the gauntlet's good for an hour, maybe a little less, 45 minutes, and then we'll have the tag and the NXT UK and the women's championships to fill out that second hour. Well, I would go over picks and stuff early, but we'll save that. So that's night one. Night two, It's going to be a little bit more action-packed in reference to number. Well, actually, really one more match, but probably a little bit more faster pace. You got a ladder match for the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Championship between Santos Escobar and Jordan Delvin, who's finally returning, thankfully, coming out of all the restrictions on travel. You've got the NXT North American Championship. Johnny Gargano will be facing the winner of Night One's Eliminator Gauntlet. The NXT Championship is going to be defended with it being Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross with Scarlett. And then we just had signed and announced the unsanctioned match between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. So there still are some spaces left on night 2 to be added to fill up some time, unless they're going to have this unsanctioned match, aka possibly, one of those nice little wrestle all over the place matches.
Cinematic matches.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to go super cinematic, but I mean, I think it'll be, kind of like Edge versus Randy Orton, the greatest match ever type thing, where it's just going to be all over the Performance Center. So I think that could stretch a good amount of time, but I think they may add a couple more matches in there somewhere to just hit.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I don't think so, because
stacked enough.
Those, because I mean, NXT, when they do their pay-per-views, they only do like maybe 4 or 5 matches during their pay-per-views anyway.
Yeah.
So I would say that these matches they can put enough into these matches to stretch those 2 hours as they are, especially if Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly put in the work that they did back in Ring of Honor when they were going at it. I'm looking forward. That's the match I actually want to see out of all of them.
I agree.
Because those matches that they had when when they were the tag team Future Shock and they broke up, those matches were instant classics.
Yeah.
So
we have to see title defense for the NXT Women's Championship. So I think that'll probably be set up this coming week, because that's the only thing that we don't have of major championship status is not being defended during TakeOver. So hopefully somebody will be challenging, and then we'll figure that out. So that's just NXT. Then I was looking at AEW. So obviously we don't know what is going to be booked for that show. But here, considering that they phoned it in last week, it's what's coming in this week's AEW Dynamite. Hikaru Shida and Ty Conti is going up against Nyla Rose and the Bunny. QT Marshall and Cody are going to have an exhibition match with Arn Anderson as a special guest referee. Miro and Kip Sabian are going to have an Arcade Anarchy match with Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. And then we know we have Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus the Lucha Bros and the Laredo Kid. So that's this week. Just on paper, that's going to be an amazing 2 hours. Can't ask for anything more than that. Should have had that same gusto this week, but it is what it is. So that's as far as we can do. Just if they keep that momentum the following week, which will be Mania week, that level of superstar matches, I would imagine Mox will wrestle that week for sure, in some shape, manner, or form. We'll see if Eddie Kingston will be capable of doing a match at that point, since he's got a little bit of an injury. But if we keep that momentum going, I would imagine Jericho will be back, and we may have something with the Inner Circle and Pinnacle. Hopefully, they can do something. They have the potential, let me put it that way, to do something. But then I got to thinking this week as I was watching Dynamite, and this is what I really want to get opinions on, because I think I may have seen a problem, Houston, on the AEW train. You ready for it, James?
Come on, Mr. Conspiracy Theory.
I'm not as bad as Sami Zayn, but I was wondering, Self, out of all the shows that we watch during the course of the week, Why does AEW have the most groups on their show? Think about it. Newly formed Pinnacle, Tully Blanchard, FTW, MJF, Wardlow, Sean Spears, and whoever else they want to put in it. Death Triangle, Penta and Ray Phoenix and Pac. The Inner Circle, Jericho, Guevara, Santana, Ortiz, Hager. The newly formed Hardy Family Office, or the HFO, Matt Hardy, Butcher, Blade, Bunny, Private Party. The Nightmare Family, Cody, Brandy, Dustin, QT Marshall, Red Velvet, and the Billy Gunn Sons. Dark Order, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, Alex Reynolds, John Silver, Cole Cabana, 10, 5, Anna J, Always Brody Lee, and -1. The Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. The Elite is still technically Kenny Omega, Good Brothers, and the Young Bucks, technically. SCU, Kazarian Daniels and Scorpio Sky. Best Friends, Chuck Taylor, Trent, Orange Cassidy. Team FTW. It's like, why are there so many groups in AEW right now?
And you forgot one. You forgot one.
Who did I forget?
Nyla Rose, Vicky Guerrero, and what's the guy's name? Hellion, what's the name? They're new. They haven't really wrestled together, but they're a group. They're their own group now. They're putting them together.
Player as a group yet, but KG, it's like it's what you got to do. Nothing. You want to join our group? Yeah, we all grouping together. Like what the hell?
That's what I was getting ready to say. I said it's crazy because I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you, and I'm trying to figure out, did you name 85, 90% of the whole roster in AEW? If not 100?
Well, there's some folks that aren't in factions. They may be in tag teams or they're together in some way. And he didn't even name all the Nightmare Family. So I mean, but here's the thing, and think about this. It's the best way to get the most people on television at the same time.
I agree. I mean, everybody gets some type of check, but the problem is with so many groups, you're going to start having storyline issues because you can only, if you're in a group, you only have one or two ways to go. You're going to go to the top, you're going to get all the championships, or you're going to implode and then your group breaks up. That's the only one or two ways that you're going to have to be able to keep some storyline continuity. You got SCU that could be on the rocks potentially, with Scorpio Sky truthfully giving one of the best promos he's ever. I mean, he was just on fire this week. But if he's going off on his heel run and doing his own thing, SCU is done. Best Friends is still together. I mean, get better Trent. Hopefully he comes back soon. Jurassic Express will probably stay together. Dark Order is fine. Nightmare Family is imploding. Hardy's is good. They just started. Inner Circle, we'll see, because Jericho's still got to go away potentially and do some things. This could be time for him to set all that stuff up and get things in order. Death Triangle, they are doing something smart where they're not always death triangling us to death. You may see Ray here, Penta here, Pac here, and then they come back together and they separate. So that one is being worked out good. Pinnacle just got together. But that's still, a full page plus of group. Oh, and Team Taz may be imploding now that Brian Cage is turning a new leaf or getting a conscience or calling a spade, for lack of a better term. That's just a lot.
And this is more of the Japanese influence that the Young Bucks, Omega, Cody and whatnot got when they had their time in New Japan, because New Japan is the same way. You got Chaos, Los Ingobernables de Japón. You got Suzuki-gun. You got Hyentai. Henta. Henta actually is called. You got the third generation. You got Roppongi 3K, which is a subgroup of Chaos. So that's Chaos. You know, you got a whole bunch of groups within Japan as well. So it's pretty much the Japanese influence that they are bringing back and adding into their own organization. So because they were all part of, and I forgot the Bullet Club. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I just said it. Yeah, Bullet Club. Yeah.
So being part of all of them being at one time part of the Bullet Club, they experienced that over in New Japan, and it was like, well, this works. You know, this gets a lot of faces on television. You know, you get Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. That's what 12, 13 people on stage at one time. And then you got Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts, who's going after folks within. He was going after folks, and then he's going after everybody. That's another two people. So yeah, I mean, it's just a way to put faces on the screen.
Here's the counterpoint to that. Let's rewind right after, I guess technically you could say, kind of towards the end of that 83-week run of WCW. How many groups did they have? How many versions of the NWO did we have? And then
there were at least 3.
I mean, that was a lot of people between Black, White, Blue WO, LWO.
Wolfpack.
Yeah, it's like, what you doing? You want to join the WO? Okay, which one? Don't matter. Just join one. You know, it's like most of your roster is a WO of some kind. I mean, especially for
black and white. What was it? Black and white, silver and white, red and black, Latino.
Right. And then
was there another one? Well, you said Blue WO, Blue World Order, but that was more ECW. They just brought
but I mean, you know, they kind of was over the place. But at the end of the day, think about entrance music. Wolfpack song coming on most of the show. Black and White coming on most of the show. And then you may have a little person in here, but most of the show is, you know, and woo, you know, that's all you hear is just some version of the NWO coming down, and then let's go on to Sting and DDP. And that's it. Oh, and the Horsemen. Throwing the 4 Horsemen into that mix as well. So didn't work out in the long scheme of things because they had too much going on, but they didn't have the streamlining of writing and continuity either that AEW has. So I just don't want it, as I was looking at it, like, man, it's a lot of damn groups. I'm hoping that they understand it, they have that depth segregated in such a way that it doesn't become a problem down the road trying to create storylines and build things that people are going to stay interested in, because not only do you have to write a storyline, but now the storyline also has to have all these other sub-players, and then, you know, you got a lot of people in the mix when they should be off doing their own kind of thing, but then you have to bring the group in because, what else you got to do? So that was it. And then, you know, I just still think it's funny that we just throwing -1 in there. At some point, he'll have a match, I guarantee.
Oh, -1 is the man. Come on. You see the other week when he came out with Ty Conti and he was getting all that play? Come on, man.
Hey, man.
-1 is that dude.
Versus Marco Stunt. I'm telling you. Match of the night.
You know what? When you talk about -1, you know there are people who are actually upset that he's actually still with AEW. He's wrestling. Oh, they're milking Brody Lee's death and this, that, and other. And I'm like, what? What? Are you serious? Y'all are upset because of a kid doing what him and his father love. There's something that he shared with his father. He has a chance to carry on his father's legacy at a young age. What is he, 8, 9 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And so he gets to be around the boys in the back.
It's called that lovely green monster, one of the deadliest sins ever. Jealousy.
Plus, they probably got that boy under contract. He probably making money for his food, and they giving them their family money and whatnot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let them live.
He's gonna wind up going to college for free. The boys in the back they can't replace dad, but damn it, they're gonna be the biggest influence, and they're gonna teach him. And mom don't have a problem with it. Mom's enjoying it herself because it's showing love. How much Brody Lee was actually loved outside of the ring.
Yep. Name another sports entertainer, wrestler that is that well respected that the company allows their child to be part of storylines. You can't name one, but that one.
Dominic.
Well,
Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, okay, that'd be two. That'd be two. But to that point, to KG's point, what is Dominic doing now? Wrestling with his dad, which unfortunately Brody won't be able to do, but he could be the new exalted one, knock on wood, that AEW is down the road, another 18 years. And who knows? He may say, you know what, thank you, Tony Khan, I'm gonna take a break. And I'm gonna pursue different ventures. And then if I choose to come back, that contract is there. Guaranteed.
And then he got a little brother. They could be a tag team together when they grow up, or whatever the case.
On the Flair side of things, it didn't work with one son. Reed was supposed to be the future, rest his soul, because he was guaranteed. I mean, we knew he was going to be champion, but it ended up being Charlotte, picking up the mantle and doing everything. Would have loved to see more opportunity with David Flair, but the business burnt him out because WCW was so toxic. It was just, they were just going too far with too much, but we know who that was for a good portion of Vince Russo.
Well, David Flair ended up going other places. I mean, he wound up going to MLW and doing very well. He started the Extreme Horsemen over in MLW, and that faction was very prominent back in those days. So, he did his thing. He did his thing in other places. He just couldn't handle what was going on in WCW.
Yeah.
He never wanted to be a wrestler. He wanted to be a state trooper. Yeah. And that's what he is now. He's in law enforcement now. He's living his dream. He got to roll with his dad, roll with his brother, but then he also got to live his dream. How many people can actually say that? I got to join my dad's business, get a little bit of success, but I also got to leave the business well and intact and still live my dream.
Mm-hmm. Shane McMahon is a great example of that. He said, hey, I'm going to step away and then come back.
And Charlotte didn't even want to wrestle. She only got in because Reed passed.
Yep.
That was Reed's dream. So, yeah.
Doing volleyball and stuff like that. And, she picked it up to honor her brother. But this also takes us into the next big thing that came out this week, this past Sunday. And that was Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull session starring Randy Orton, which in my opinion was the best that has happened in the series on the network thus far. And just immediately tied in what we were talking about. Randy Orton did not want to join the family business. Third generation, but that was not his dream at the time. He went to the military. He just didn't like the way the military was in the barracks, I guess, for lack of a better term, opposed to the locker room, and ended up getting himself discharged so he could come home and then just come to the epiphany, hey, Dad, I guess I can try what you was doing. And then the rest is history. Did either one of you guys get a chance to watch?
Oh, yeah, I definitely watched that. It was, like you said, that one was definitely better than either one of the Undertaker ones. So, yeah, that one was the best one out of all of them to me.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Okay.
If you haven't watched the KG, I saw your eyes all wide, but if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. Taker was good. Both of Taker's was good, but this one, yeah.
He pulled the curtain back. He was talking about stuff. Even what my eyes went when he had the moment he was like, yeah, we went out to the practice ring. You're not supposed to say that. Randy was just
Kayfabe is dead, so he can say all that shit.
But he was putting it out there, he was given, in my opinion, a master class to anybody that is looking to get in the ring or that is trained to be in the ring. Need to watch that. He broke it down all the way to, why he does what he does, the facial expressions, and how long it took him to get to this point of being able to have the trust of Vince McMahon to go out there and just, you got your bullet point, do your interview. Period. And not too many people
You
get
know
that out.
something? People, and I hate bringing this up, but people get online and they get behind keyboards and on phones and they turn themselves into fake ass thugs. And whenever Randy Orton says something about the military, they want to bring up his military past. Well, you were dishonorably discharged. His actual dishonorable discharge is turned over into an honorable discharge. So for those that don't know, you can't come at him about that. But when I hear that dude talk, I've always had mad respect for Randy Orton. I mean, when his finishing move was the overdrive, you know how many times I hurt myself trying to do that damn thing? But and to you, James, I would love to watch the Broken Skull sessions, but when I try to pull it up on my WWE network, I can't find it. It tells me to go to Peacock, but then I go to Peacock and I cannot find it.
Well, what you got?
Well, we've already had that discussion, sir, while you were off doing your hair or whatever.
My hair was done last night, sir. Thank you very much.
You and your ODB moment. Go ahead.
Hey, I had to throw up my W's, man. I want a pay-per-view in 2021, dog. I'm happy, man. I'm shucking, jiving, doing the damn thing. I'm doing it all. Whatever you say I'm doing it.
So that man was out there playing around, doing his hair, when we should be out here putting that work in. And speaking of putting in work, WWE Network, because you can't see it, KG, has been doing the 50 greatest females of all time within New York. We'll put it that way. So I just want to go down the list really quick because there's some people in positions that, I don't agree with. I don't even understand who put them in that number. So I know y'all going to be like, what the hell? All right, so let me hit you with this 50 special real quick. At number 50, Toni Storm. 49, Caitlyn. 48, your current NXT UK Women's Champion, Kaylee Ray. 47, Sonya Deville. 46, one half of the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, Shotzi Blackheart. 45, Kelly Kelly. 44, Candice LeRae. 43, Nikki Cross. 42, Layla. 41, James's girl, Ember Moon, the other half of the NXT Women's Championship. 40, Eve Torres. 39, Lacey Evans. 38, Jazz. 37, Maurice. 36, one half of the WWE Women's Tag Champions, Yawboo, Nia Jax at number 36. Number 35, Bianca Belair. Number 34, Carmella. Number 33, who said she was surprised they knew she existed, Gail Kim. Number 32, Jacqueline. Number 31, Kairi Sane. I don't just okay. Number 30, Naomi. Number 29, I was surprised they remember her too, Bull Nakano. Number 28, Ivory. 27, Melina. 26, they're counting them together, the Bella Twins. 25, your current NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai. So that's the 25. I'm going to stop there and see if y'all agree or disagree with 50 through 25.
Okay.
Yep. That's just 50 through 25.
Right. The Bella Twins, first of all, should have been separated because Nikki is definitely better than Brie.
Uh-huh.
in my opinion. Um, Bianca
At 35.
at 35. I don't need,
She doesn't need to
and
be in the top
she
25.
she doesn't
But
need to be on the list at all to me. I mean, there's some of these guys, some of these people that don't even need to be on the list. Like Bianca, she's too new to be on this list. Shotzi Blackheart, too new.
Yep.
Ember Moon, too new. Lacey Evans, too new. Um, I would move Jazz up to the top 25.
I'd move Gail Kim up a little
I'd
bit.
move Gail Kim up.
Jacqueline
I'd move
definitely
Jacqueline
moved up.
Naomi
Needs more respect on her name.
I'd move her up a little bit, but I don't
She
know if
should
I
at
put her
least
in the
be
top
15.
25.
You should at least be 15. So
But yeah, that this list so far is real suspect to me.
yeah.
And like your tag team list,
Oh,
sir,
you need
I
to
want to
listen.
know what the parameters and the conditions were
Yeah.
on the making of this list.
Now I agree because this list thus far reminds me of the old best of lists that they used to do on WWE the magazine, where you flip through and you're like, really, really, I don't agree with none of this, and you just close the book and move on. Period. Very rarely did I agree with the top 10 or top 20 or whatever it was in the magazine.
Oh, and Nikki Cross doesn't need to be on here either. I forgot her. So Nikki Cross needs to be off of here too.
Or full, further down toward the bottom, no disrespect to Nikki Cross, but like, really? There's some names in there.
No disrespect to anybody, but I'm just saying these folks, the folks that I'm named, are too new to be on this list. There are others that have been in the industry that probably have done more within WWE than anybody on this list that should have probably been on this list.
Yep.
So yeah, so I disagree with anybody that's on this list that has been added within the last probably 3-4 years don't need to be on this list.
I agree. KG, you got anything to say?
Yeah, I gotta disagree with you there, James, because honestly, okay, Eve Torres, Gail Kim. Gail Kim really made more of a name for herself in TNA than she did in WWE, in my opinion.
And that's true.
She did, but
so her being on this list, I mean, granted, she's pretty low, but it's like you already know who's going to be number one. So let's be honest, we know who's going to be number one.
Do you know who number one is?
Number one is going to be Moolah.
Oh, so you don't know you don't know the list then? Okay.
No, I don't know.
Okay, cool. I want you to keep Don. Let him keep going.
Number one's always Moolah. They always make it Moolah.
Let me keep going.
Let him keep going.
25.
Let him keep going.
You saying I'm gonna be pissed off? All right, let's go.
You might be surprised that 24 through to number one.
Yep. So just a reminder, 25, starting the technically top half of the countdown, is going to be your current NXT Women's Champion, Io Shirai. Number 24 should be in this stretch, but maybe a little bit higher, Luna Vachon. 23, I agree with this, Stephanie McMahon. 22, Michelle McCool. 21, I know James is going to say it, should not even be on this list yet, Rhea Ripley. 20 should be higher on the list based off of how many people she put over and helped. But at 20, Natalya. Number 19, AJ Lee. Number 18, the other half of the women's tag team champions, who is higher than her tag team partner, but newer than her tag team partner, Shayna Baszler. Number 17, Paige. 16, Sable. I'm just going to stop there. KG. So we went from Io Shirai, Luna Vachon, Stephanie, Michelle McCool, Rhea Ripley, Natalia, AJ, Shayna, Paige, and Sable. We haven't cracked the 15 yet. Any thoughts thus far? Any of those names should be higher than 15.
You want to go first, James? Because
I got nothing to say right now. Go ahead.
All right.
go.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're tongue tied, I'll keep going.
No.
Wait.
KG got something to say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
How in 79 hells is Natty below AJ Lee? How is Rhea Ripley this high, but Bianca Belair is so low? What the fuck were they smoking?
15 through number 1.
Continue, Don, please.
15 through number 1. I agree with this spot. Molly Holly at number 15. 14, Victoria. 13, Alexa Bliss. 12, Mickie James. 11, Beth Phoenix. Starting the top 10, Bayley at number 10. Ronda Rousey at number 9. Lita at number 8. Rightfully should be in the top 10, but the number may be a little off. Alundra Blaze at number 7. Sasha Banks, your current SmackDown Women's Champion, at number 6. Asuka, your Raw Women's Champion, at number 5. I agree with this number. China at number 4. Number 3, Becky Lynch. Number 2, Charlotte. Number 1, Trish Stratus. KG, go.
Get the fuck out of here.
No Moolah. No
Mae Young.
Wait, time out. Okay.
I understand why they didn't do Moolah. Moolah got heat. The reason why they didn't name the women's tag team tournament after Moolah for all that shit that she used to do back in the day, I understand why they didn't put Moolah in. But not to put Mae Young in there,
Gail Kim
that's a problem.
heat.
Gail Kim ain't got as much heat as Moolah.
They don't. Right is right, wrong is wrong.
Wait, time out. If you want to go with this list as is, now out of everybody you named on this list, I think China should have been number 1.
I agree.
Wait,
I totally agree.
China, the 9th wonder of the world. Forget what she did outside of the ring. What she did in the ring. She had the boys in the back scared. She had the women scared. She had everybody scared of her because she could hold her own against men and she could kick women's asses. First
female Intercontinental Champion. First woman to be in the Royal Rumble.
Groundbreaker,
pretty much.
So why is she not number 1? She should have her own section. Shit should be named after her in WWE. You can't. Doug, I did not come here to get pissed off tonight, but apparently you want me to be pissed off because that once you say Alita was that far down, I knew the list was trash. I knew I was in for it and this list was trash.
It took you to number 8 to get there?
I was giving it the benefit of the doubt. This list is trash. They were smoking dicks when they made this list.
Right. First of all, I would have put Alundra Blaze at number 5 and Asuka further back.
Right.
Sasha Banks, you can make some argument within the top 10. Ronda Rousey should not be in the top 10.
Ronda Rousey shouldn't be in the top 25.
Period. Not saying she's not worthy to be on the list or something like that, but just like the other ones, she's too new. She was in just for a stint and then out. All she did was
She got in because of the money that they made with her. That's how she got in. She got in because of
the table, but she didn't put in the greatest work of WWE ever to be on this list. That took up somebody else's spot. Mae Young, as many times as she was put through a table, she gave birth to her hand. She should be on the list.
Oh, I'm guessing that whole thing with her giving birth to a hand is not going to be on the Peacock Network, is it?
Let's not even talk about that.
But wait,
yeah, all that censorship stuff they doing, yeah.
You know, I was listening to Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM, and Bubba Ray was talking about Mae Young and putting her through the table. He was so scared. He's like, I should put her through the table like a woman. Said she came up to him and told him straight up, put me through a table like you put the boys to the table. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, yo, she's always been a gangster in my book. Like, the legend of Mae Young grew even more gangsterish with that. Like, I love Mae Young. I love Moolah. Even with the out of the ring stuff, I love Moolah because when she came back and Jeff Jarrett was going after her and Mae Young, I thought that was one of the best fucking feuds I've ever seen in my life, man. It was absolutely hilarious. It was entertaining.
But with the Mae Young thing, I mean, hell, that was more of a safety thing because I'm like, look, if you're going to try to go soft on me going through this table, you're going to do something to actually mess me up or hurt me for real. So you know what you're doing with the dudes. Do me like you do the dudes because you know what you're doing. That didn't even have nothing to do with her being tough. I'd have told them the same thing. Oh, yo, this is your first time in the ring. We'll put you through a table. I was like, all right, put me through the table like you do the rest of the boys. You know, don't hold up on me. Because if you hold up on me and I end up getting hurt, I'm gonna own this damn place.
Pretty much.
You know, so
this list, I mean, it seemed like it's more modern. Because to be honest with me, fellas, if we look at a list of top 50 women, and this is pretty much WWE's list, you're not putting Wendy Richter in there?
Nope.
Not even the top 50?
No.
Okay. But it seemed like it's more of a modern list. It seems like
you go put a tag team in there, put the Jumping Bomb Angels in there. What was the name? What was that tag team that was around back in the Moolah days? Pam Martin and I forget the other woman's name, but it was Peggy Martin or something like that, and her partner that would tag team champions back then when they had a women's tag team division championship back then. I mean, there are a whole bunch of women that they could have put in there from the past that they chose not to, but they added all of these NXT women. I mean, granted, I'm not like I said, I'm not putting nothing against them.
Maybe
I ain't hating, but I mean,
close the parameters.
What has Ember Moon done?
You know,
what has Ember Moon done? Okay, I can see Io Shirai.
No. She became the first woman to win an NXT championship, a tag team, a WWE tag team championship, and an NXT women's tag team championship. She's the first. She groundbreaking. I could see her being there.
She wasn't the first
to win all three belts. Yes, she was. Because remember they were the first winner. Well, they were the second winner, but she won all. She was the first to have all three.
What three?
The NXT Women's Championship.
Okay.
The NXT Tag Team Women's Championship.
Okay.
And the WWE Tag Team Women's Championship. She's the first to hold all three of those belts. Nobody has ever held all three.
Okay. Well, that's a new bet, but the NXT Tag titles of a brand new belt. So I mean, I wouldn't even count that.
And then
I wouldn't even count that.
You got Charlotte. Charlotte's a Grand Slam champion. No, is Charlotte a Grand Slam champion? Charlotte is a Grand Slam champion.
Charlotte has won every women's belt out there.
And so has Bayley and Sasha Banks, correct?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
With the exception of the NXT tag, yeah.
with the exception of NXT Tag, which we're not counting because it's a brand new belt.
Right.
It's a brand new championship, so we're not counting that. But yeah, no doubt.
Charlotte was the first.
Like I said, within the last 3-4 years. Okay, I'm not counting the 4 horsewomen in this at all. Okay, I'm not counting the 4 horsewomen in this at all. I'm talking about the newer ones like Nikki Cross, Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart, Toni Storm, Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray has a history outside, has a famed history outside of WWE. Okay, but if they included that, then she should have been higher up the list if they're going to include Kaylee Ray, in my opinion. If they're going to talk about past stuff outside of WWE, but they're not. Well, the only thing that she's got is the NXT Women's Championship. She's held it a while, COVID, but I mean, yeah, okay.
Same thing like Walter.
But I'm talking about some of these newer people. Candice LeRae. What the fuck is she doing on this damn list? The only reason I put her on this list is because she took a super kick with a damn Nike tennis shoe laced on the bottom with thumbtacks in PWG from Matt Jackson. That woman is a hard woman. I give her that. I mean, like I said, they want to. She could be on this list just for that. She still got a scar on her face from that damn super kick. So yeah, and if you haven't seen it, you need to go back and look for it because I mean, she took one of the better super kicks Matt Jackson has ever put out with that shoe. So yeah, but yeah, somebody Lacey Evans. What has she done? What has Lacey Evans done?
Call everybody nasties.
Kairi Sane. I could put her on this list, but not at 31. I'll put her on this list, but not at 31.
Right.
Like I said, the Bella Twins, they need to be separated because Nikki needs to be over Brie. Period. Bull Nakano, I'm just glad that they even remember her, like you said.
Yep.
You know. AJ Lee, I mean, she doesn't need to be at 19, but she does need to be on this list. Okay, because she did have a lot of influence when the women's division during the Diva era. So yeah, I give her that. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, Ronda Rousey, she can be on this list, but not in the top 25. I mean, she was brought in to bring butts in the seats and bring money into the WWE. That was it. They put the title on her because it was smart to do. So right, okay,
and that was it.
That was it. I mean, but yeah. Other than that, Asuka needs to drop. Sasha needs to drop. Alundra needs to be needs to be at number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte needs to be at number 1, in my opinion. Trish, Charlotte, China needs to come up, and everybody else needs to drop on that top 5. The top 5 can stay as it is, but it needs to go 2 through 6 and put China at 1.
Well,
so you taking Sasha Banks out of the top 5?
Yes. Well, she's not in the top 5 now. She's number 6.
You taking her out of the top 10?
No, I'm not taking her. I'm not taking her out of the top 10. I'm just saying,
okay.
Bring China from 4 to 1.
Okay.
So then it'll be 2 Trish, 3 Charlotte, 4 Becky, 5 China, 6. Oh, excuse me. It'll be 2 Trish, 3 Charlotte, 4 Becky, 5. Asuka stays at 5. Sasha drops. Bring up Bayley at 6, and put Sasha behind her.
Okay, 7. I got a question. I got 2 questions actually.
All right.
First question: thinking about this list. To you, James, and I don't know, Don, if you agree with it. Why do you have Trish so high? I mean,
Trish was influential.
I mean, she
Trish was influential in the ring and out of the ring.
Homegrown for that era. So I mean, I agree. Trish should definitely be on the Mount Rushmore, but number one, subjective.
okay. Question number 2. It's a name that I just hit me just now. That's missing from the whole entire list. That should be top 5. And one half of my all-time dream match, the Glamazon, Beth Phoenix.
No, she's on there. I said her.
She's on the list. She's on the list at number 11.
She should be in top 5.
I put her top 10.
I put her top 10, but not top 5.
She walked away at the height of the game, and I always respect her for that. But my whole dream match was her versus Chyna. I thought that was the only person that could go toe-to-toe with Chyna and probably give me a 30-minute match. And it'd be absolutely, positively, balls out beast shit. Like, I'm talking, you would sell out the curtain type shit.
Yeah.
Because everybody in the back is standing at the curtain. Because it's that good. And I feel, as a fan, I feel cheated that we never got to see that. But it's nobody's fault. Things didn't sync up right. Unfortunately, we had the untimely death of Chyna. So it just didn't happen. But damn it, that would have been a money draw right there. That could have main evented a pay-per-view. And I'm
actually surprised they put Chyna this high, tell you the truth.
I'm surprised she made the list.
With all the drama that went on and everything with her, I'm surprised they put her this high.
Couldn't deny, but let's be honest. They can say drama, da-da-da. That is one of the major casualties of wrestling. Because problem wouldn't be there if Triple H and Stephanie didn't do what they did. Chyna did nothing wrong. Stephanie wanted Chyna gone because she moving in and her and Tripp's getting together. Can't have your ex here. Chyna like used to. She's got to go. That was grimy. That was even more grimy than the Matt Hardy thing. Then, what your boy doing smashing a homie? Come on, Sean. That's your boy girl. How you gonna smash the homie?
Just think about this. Think about this, and I'm gonna be honest. I mean, we can't predict the future. We can't change the past. But think about this. In your honest opinion, gentlemen, do you think if WWE would have separated the shows a little earlier, Triple H is on and Stephanie on one show, Chyna's on another show, so they're never on the road at the same time. They don't see each other. Do you think that would have prolonged her life if they would have never fired her the way that they did?
Yes. One of two things. A, if that would have happened, or B, if WCW would have been prominent enough to be able to still, or around enough to take her. She's been, Paul Heyman wouldn't have been able to make that happen. So that'd have been that. But if she could have went to another promotion, if TNA existed at that point, then, maybe she could have went there and Jeff Jarrett could have scooped her up because they had history. But yeah.
Wait, TNA was around then?
Not at the height to where it was to pull. I know the Asylum years, but it was still kind of undergroundish.
Okay, but now, they were still using the 6-sided ring
level, where we had everything just massive, where they could just pay that check and pull her in.
But didn't she show up in TNA for a little bit?
She was in TNA for a while,
but not at. I mean, it came kind of after, but not at that point. Where
not in the early years, but I mean, it was. Yeah. I think she came in right after they changed networks.
But
because they were originally on TNT, but then they moved, didn't they?
Yeah, they were on. No, they were on TNN.
They
Wasn't
were
it?
on TNN,
Yeah,
right? They were on TNN, and then they switched to somebody else. And whenever they switched, they made that switch. Then that's when she showed up.
yeah. But I was kind of. I think the one night in China came out at that point.
Yeah, but I mean that right there is that's your money draw right there.
Yeah, but she would have had to stay. I mean, she would be like Undertaker. She would be a lifer in WWE. But that wound cut so deep. I mean, that's worse than, hey, Jeff, why'd you tell me that Edge and Lita was a thing? I'm like, that's your girl. You hurt. How your boy gonna take your girl while you on injured reserve, trying to get better to come back, and your boy gonna take your girl?
And
That's
they still
what.
stayed boys after that. They kicked her to the curb.
Yeah,
they really that's the epitome of bros over hoes.
like, but yeah, when if Triple H would have gotten with a female, I guess at that time, diva, wouldn't be that much of a problem. But when you get with somebody that got stroke at that
Mm.
level, ain't nothing you can do about it. You can't complain to nobody. You can't be, like, I can't believe you did this. That person's like, your contract is done, you're out. Then your contract is done, you're out. It's a wrap. So, yeah. So we can all, I don't know. That's just like I
This
said, the true great tragedy of wrestling, in my opinion, was China. Because I
mm.
can forgive, all the vivid video stuff. It is what it is. You live your life, things happen, you do stuff, but that don't mean you can't come back.
But
But
it
it
wasn't
was
just that.
it was the snowball of that plus the substance abuse. The
Well,
substance abuse was there to mask the pain from what happened with Triple H and Steph. I mean, it just she went down that hole and just couldn't find the light to pull out of.
you had the vivid video. It was two of them actually. You had a one night in China, then a second night in China.
It
Then
was
you had
two
a
plus some guest appearances. Get that right.
yeah, yeah. But no,
Plus,
it was some full fledged things too. Her She Hulk.
there was some special
But
guest appearances.
we not gonna we're not gonna get into that on air. I tell y'all that off air. I mean, shoot, if you want the links, just hit me up. I tell you, don't worry
And
about
KT already seen them. Like, you ain't gotta go there, dog.
it. Dog.
You ain't gotta go there. You know who you talk to.
But see, this is the thing that I never understood. How can you get mad at her for one night in China, a second night in China, all these things, but you cool with her posing in Playboy?
Double standard.
Oh, Playboy's a reputable magazine. It's a gentleman's magazine. Well,
But
this
then
is a gentleman's movie.
you got Sable out there with shoestrings on.
Oh, the handprints. Don't forget the handprints.
Oh yeah. Or Jacqueline with the oh my goodness.
Oh,
I
and
ain't even,
let's not forget, Mickey James
Yes.
had hers.
Yes.
Paige
Yes.
had her leak.
Who did?
Paige.
Yep.
yes. And her leak, right? Her leak.
That was a new day. Yes, it was.
Yeah, and
And Tony Storm had her leak.
Yeah. Well,
Charlotte had a leak.
yeah.
yeah, they were all a part of the fappening.
Yeah, that was a sensation.
Victoria got a flick out there.
Yep.
And don't forget Sonny.
Oh, let's not forget
Well,
Sunny, but she's
we
not
got-
on this list because she wasn't necessarily a wrestler. But she
She
was
was darling.
she was wrestling. She was wrestling elsewhere.
Mm.
Sonny way off. Like no, we ain't touching that with a 50-foot pole right now.
Well, ain't everybody, you can't be mad about a little sunny days.
Then no.
Sean wouldn't.
Yeah.
Neither was Brett, from what I hear.
Yeah.
We could talk or Dolph Ziggler, but
Yeah. Dolph.
and the rest in peace, Chris Candido. So
And from what I can tell, she can make you a happy man. But yeah.
I know you want me.
Yeah.
What was that? WWE Music Volume 2? Had her theme song?
That was
Or was it Volume
that was
1?
on the trilogy. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
on the Go. It was a Go to Year CD on the trilogy.
Okay. About to say, I was bumping it.
Yeah.
Theme song, that is. Couldn't find Sunny, but the theme song was
That was one of them things where you washing the car and all the windows down, so you wiping everything down and you just start playing Sunny theme music.
Mm-hmm. And see
So
who
I
turned
mean,
oh, hey, girl.
yeah, I know you want me.
So, needless to say, just to wrap this show up, we are not too far away from WrestleMania, so we will have some cool things in store.
Whoa! Wait a minute now. We kind of skipped over some stuff because we got off on we kind of hit that exit and kind of make a bit of because we didn't finish going through. We didn't finish going over the shows. We never did the WrestleMania shows.
Oh, you know what? You're right. You're right, James. That's why we keep you around.
Yeah, I know we going. I know we going a little long. We've been going off on our tangents and whatnot, but we have to do our due diligence for our fans. So
yep,
got to go back.
Reeling it back in, WrestleMania Night 1 as it's starting to evolve and come together. You've got Shane versus Braun Strowman, which will be some type of stipulation match. Don't know what yet. I guess that'll be determined between this upcoming Money in the Go Home show. For the Raw,
if it's got anything to do with that slime, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm just saying it now.
Special.
If they do anything Nickelodeon with that match, I'm gonna be hot. I'm just putting it out there.
Would you rather be a mimosa match?
I would rather be a mimosa match. Yes.
All right. So for the Raw Tag Team Champions, you got the New Day versus AJ and Omos in his debut. Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. Bad Bunny with Damian Priest versus The Miz with John Morrison.
Now they're saying that might be changed.
Well, we'll see, but
because that was originally supposed to be a tag team match, but apparently Priest and Morrison are hurt, but they might be cleared before WrestleMania, so that might turn into a tag match again.
Yeah, like I said, it's still evolving because nothing is set yet, but this is just the foundation that they've laid. The WWE Championship, Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, and in my opinion, would better be the Night 1 main event over Lashley and Drew. Keep my fingers crossed on that. Will be for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and that will be Bianca Belair versus the Boss, Sasha Banks.
And they are talking about changing that.
Oh.
They are talking about making Lashley and McIntyre the main event, even though they've been hyping up this match as the main. Even though they've been hyping up the girls' match as the main event, there's actually a poll on Twitter right now with 4 matches that should be that they're letting people pick which one should be the main event.
No, we'll see. I'm gonna have to go vote on that one because you need to make the women the main event of one, the men the main event of the other.
I agree.
But
for them to be talking about taking Sasha and Bianca out of the main event for Night 1 is ridiculous.
Yep. So Night 1 is, as you've heard, a little bit more stacked. Night 2, on the other hand, still needs some more love because you've got just set up KO versus Sami Zayn.
Why?
Intercontinental Championship, Big E versus Apollo. The Fiend versus Randy Orton. Possibly cinematic, possibly not. We'll have to figure that out. Hopefully not an all red because Randy Orton already said he hates the all red wrestling match. It's annoying. The Raw Women's Championship, Asuka versus, I'm just going to show up and get an immediate WrestleMania title shot, Rhea Ripley. And the Universal Triple Threat, as I called earlier, told you, Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan, and what could be Daniel Bryan's last match, because there's heavily speculation that he will be going into the Hall of Fame, if not this year, then next year. So that is night 2 of WrestleMania. Now, what potentially could also happen in night 2 or night 1 could be SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between Ziggler and Rude versus the Street Profits could happen. The U.S. title between Riddle and Sheamus could also happen. And we could have an Andre the Giant men's battle royal and possibly a women's battle royal just to get more appearances for WrestleMania. So those could still happen between pre-shows or just stacking the deck on night 2. I guess night 2 will be determined whether or not the Fiend Randy Orton match is cinematic. If it's cinematic, then that is probably it may squeeze one more match in, but you'll be done after that because that'll cover you an hour. And then also we don't know what the runtime is for these 2 nights. Is it going to be 2 3-hour or is it going to be 2 4-hour shots? But next year we know for sure that WrestleMania, provided as no other pandemics, will be back to one night spectacle showcase of the Immortals. Da 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 da. So that is the rounding of WrestleMania time.
Okay. First off, why is Owens and Zayn wrestling in this pay-per-view? This is pretty much a filler match that they know that they can get a good match out of the two of them. It's it's unnecessary, and I'm not ready. I'm not ready to see them two wrestle again. I mean,
Right.
it's they ran that match to death, just like they did in the Indies, and I'm just not ready to see them yet. There's no reason for this match.
Zayn would win.
I'm thinking Zayn would win too because he's got the bigger push going on right now with that controversy video or whatever. And they brought Logan Paul into the picture now. So, next, The Fiend and Randy Orton. I saw something interesting on which one was it? Was it WrestleMania? I think it was, or Wrestle World, or one of those two on YouTube, where they're saying that this may not be Bray Wyatt. They're saying because of the way that the costuming is now and the way the mask is, you're only really seeing his hair and his eyes, that this may not be Bray Wyatt, that it might be Bo Dallas. And that Bo Dallas might be involved in some kind of way where there may be two Fiends, or Bray Wyatt is exposed as the new Fiend, because right now they're saying that there's no real distinction between Bray Wyatt and the Fiend, even though they're saying Bray Wyatt is always saying that they're two separate entities. But you haven't seen Bray Wyatt since the Fiend came back. So they're saying that maybe, could be, might be, that's been Bo Dallas that we've been seeing that came out from under the ring and attacked Randy Orton at Fastlane. So that's an interesting tidbit.
Wow. We've been calling for Bo Dallas, but that would be something if done right.
But wait.
Epic.
I got questions. My question is, they don't have the same body type though. See, I gotta get a good look at.
When's the last time you seen Bo Dallas?
Shit. What year is this?
Plus the fact. Look at the costuming that they have him in now.
He's got gloves.
The Fiend before the fire. You would see the tattoos. You would see his arms. You would see skin. You would see he had on like a bodysuit, so you could actually see him. Now you don't see anything but his eyes and his hair, and even his hair is different. His hair is part of the mask.
let me ask you a question. Maybe you guys noticed it. Did you ever notice when the Fiend was wrestling, and once he took his jacket off, did you ever notice what he had on his chest?
It was an emblem of some kind, but
Praying hands.
yeah.
And most people didn't. Most people would say, "Oh, the Fiend is so demonic and this," and I'm like, maybe you don't pay attention, but he actually has praying hands on his costume. Give shit a chance before you start calling it demonic. But I ain't here to preach. Go on now.
And there was one other problem. There was one other problem I had, but you gotta go. I can't remember the match now that I had another problem with. It was 3 matches that I had a problem with.
Was it night 1 or night 2?
Night 2, toward the end.
Oscar versus Rhea?
No, yeah. You already went over that. The fact that they brought her in and just threw her a title match because they got beef with Charlotte with Andrade and everything. But I think it was another one.
What was it? The Roman Edge and Daniel?
Yes. There you go. You and this triple threat thing. You know how I feel about this. You know I'm pissed.
It wasn't that. It was just I saw the writing on the wall before the Matt Fastlane happened. Everything else. What I say? Watch. I guarantee you, it's going to be a triple threat. I just saw it. I pegged it right then and there. I was just waiting for them to just let it play out, and it played out on SmackDown.
Yeah, right. I know. You called it. And I give you all the credit for calling it. But I'm just saying.
They have to give a justification because Edge is not going to win. But so they had to give Edge an out to where he saves face. Daniel Bryan could win, and then that will set up an immediate rematch on Raw, which would be different because we'd be expected to happen on SmackDown. But that rematch, that will be all called out because everybody's there. So why not have it be the biggest Raw that you can have, hopefully with a crowd? Because if you're already doing it, that could be the extra surprise, is that you're going to have butts in the seats for Raw, wherever it's going to be at that point. Because it may not be at Raymond James. Who knows? We'll see how that plays out. But I would expect it to be a rematch. Jimmy Uso comes back, and Roman's group has gotten bigger, and Daniel Bryan loses.
Now, I would have liked to have seen it be Edge and Daniel Bryan night 1 to wrestle Roman. But I understand they're not going to do. I understand they probably won't do that because that's what they did for Wrestle Kingdom, and they don't. And I guess they call themselves not wanting to bite.
But main events that bumps the women out completely.
But then the only way that they're going to be able to fix this for me is instead of making it a triple threat, they make it a 3-way dance. They make it an elimination 3-way. That way we still get. That way we possibly still get the one-on-one between Edge and Roman Reigns.
Well, I think Edge will get eliminated though, because Edge in Roman. If I was Roman, the bigger threat would be Edge because he's the X factor. Daniel Bryan.
But if you're talking about Daniel Bryan leaving, why would they put the belt on it? Well, why would they even put him in a position to put the belt on it?
Because how many times have we seen somebody get crapped on their way out? You're gonna be a one-day champion. There you go. You won a belt and you're losing on Monday.
Well, you're supposed to get crapped on. You're supposed to get crapped on your way out.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the wrestling business. That's the way. That's you when you leave counting lights.
Yep.
When you leave counting lights. You leave on your back.
You got the credit. Yeah. You got the credit for the championship. Your payoff is you go into the Hall of Fame next year. First ballot guaranteed 2022. You're the headliner. There you go.
I'm still pissed off with this 3-way.
Yeah. I knew you wouldn't like it. The moment I saw that announcement when they stretched it out, and it's going to be well, there it is. There it is. Now, I wouldn't have mind it being all in the same night. Daniel Bryan would have to wrestle Jay to get into an opportunity to wrestle Edge, and then they would wrestle Roman. Or Roman would lose the belt, and then you could have Daniel Bryan versus Edge. Something to that effect.
Well, they've done it before.
I know. Well, shoot, Daniel Bryan had to do it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
So, but I guess, that's what I'm saying. If Daniel gets the belt for the surprise moment because of Edge or something like that, then he would lose it the next night. It wouldn't wait till SmackDown. You would have to do that on Raw.
And this totally ruins my theory about Big Gold coming back because there's no point now. I mean, he would have done that to get at Edge, but that
probably
shoots that down.
The big wood, the recycled wood would come back now.
Oh God, please don't. Please don't. That T-shirt they got for him right now is corny as hell. So please don't.
I like that T-shirt.
No.
That plays on everything that's Daniel Bryan. That's spot on, even all the way in the back with the name tag. That's spot on. That's money. That sells. That's gonna sell. Protect the earth. So there you have it, James. Thank you for the call back of that. I know we'll have from the podcast side of things the push being added in. Unfortunately, we'll work on getting that as part of the YouTube side, but the push, if you want to hear that with Mr. Delonte, will be following suit after Mr. KG wraps us up and tells us about any new places outside of YouTube, which you can like, subscribe, ring the bells, break dance, what I'm saying, lift the curtain, whatever you want to do to make sure that we still here next week. You could do that, but is there any new places to check us out?
Of course, as usual, I'm always scouring, trying to find out where we're at. Of course, Anchor, that's our home, that's our distributor. Tune in, Podchaser, Podtail, Spotify, Podbean, Owltail, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, the podcast app, Hubhopper, Castbox, and Google Play.
They just keep coming up with these weird names for these podcast places. But
what was that? Owl what? What was that?
Owltail.
Owltail. Okay. What's up, Owltail?
Y'all can sponsor us. We make sure we whose tail is that? See that?
Bam. You know what? I'm gonna submit that. But let me say this. Anybody that's listening, if you're looking for brand ambassadors, every one of the Sideline Junkies is available for brand ambassadorship, if that's a word. So, let us know. Let us fill out the application, see if we qualify for it. Because we got a couple applications out now. Hopefully we can get something started. And, whatever swag we can get, we want to share it with the people because this is the people show.
Especially if you're a cigar or a liquor distributor.
And I'm trying to find a few.
I do naked distributing. I get naked.
Well, I don't know. If you can get on Pornhub or, Brazzers or something, you might be able to work something out on that, yeah.
You might as well go ahead and start an OnlyFans page.
Anybody got time for that?
Shoot, you know how much money you can make?
Yeah, but I don't want it. I don't want it to be only just fans. I want it to be critics too. Like, y'all come get some of this. Skibbity paps.
Hey, you got your tagline. Your tagline got to be, "Hey, join my OnlyFans. You'll see things that you won't see on the internet any other time." And it's just you doing a robot for 20 minutes. Don't do it.
Hey. Don't be making threats like that. What's wrong with you?
It's time to go home.
That's for your OnlyFans.
Your OnlyFans. Can't do that on my OnlyFans.
Yours only OnlyFans.
I'm trying to get our ratings up. That's all.
No, you trying to run folks off.
I'll be bucket naked up in here.
Okie dokie. All you gonna hear is, "Oh my Lord."
You on the wrong show. You need to be on P Valley.
coming to
I'm
the
sure.
stage.
I'm sure Uncle Clifford would enjoy you on the stage.
Oh God, you need to stop, James.
Look, that's a show that I have never watched. I'll be honest. I have never watched the show.
You need to watch P Valley.
Can't get into
I can't wait for P Valley to come back on, boy. They need to bring that. They're gonna go ahead and bring that back. Yeah, you need to do that. You need to do that. Do yourself a favor.
I guess I can't watch because my sister watches. I'm like, nah, because that's too much. Like, nah, because the stuff my sister watch, I can't watch nothing she watch because she ruined it all. You know, you ain't seen it. You got it on DVR. You trying to get home. You checking your phone to make sure everything all right. And then all of a sudden, her post pop up about what happened on the have and have not. I stopped watching that show. I was like, man, I'm done. I'm done with all of that. I'm just done.
That's why you turn off her notifications. You ain't gotta block her or unfriend her. You just turn off her notifications.
Yeah, snooze her for 30 days.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right, ladies, gents, we're getting closer and closer to that time of the year where we all go crazy and start getting just wild and out there and stuff like that. So who knows? There could be some special naked appearances down the road. We may see some babies. You know, KG may give us a little show Bob, the new addition to the Sideline Junkies family. You know, all kind of crazy stuff could happen. James could have on some fresh socks, so we may see his feet. Julio is
I know Coolio over there. Look at him.
no, he's Julio. Like, who the hell is this fool? Julio.
Hey, don't get mad because I can floss my W, baby. That's a win right there. That's a win.
You need to take a picture and send that to the Redskins organization. See if you can get on their helmets.
Oh snap! A wiener.
Wait, look. Wait, hold on. Wait. I'm being glared at right now, so I can't do that anymore. I thought she was asleep, so I'm being glared at.
For good damn reason. We've been trying to tell you to stop doing that for the past 2 hours. What the hell?
Shut up. She didn't know that.
Hail to the Redskins.
But I think I'm going to do that. Be like, yeah, hey, I want to be the new mascot. There it is.
Like, who that? We have no idea. We just own that fool. He just set us back 50 years.
That's all right. But guess what? Set us back 50 years. We done won the championship. I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, true that. Unfortunately,
I'm true to myself, baby. I'm true to myself. So I'll leave it be.
You too, boy. Yeah, y'all are just constant entertainment. I tell you.
I appreciate that. So is Carolina. So,
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not giving you the pleasure tonight. No. Mm-mm. Nope.
Okie dokie. Nope. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this has been another Sideline Junkies production, sponsored by whatever James is drinking tonight because I missed it, whatever he was smoking. Produced by the People's Choice Don Rodriguez. Please keep your seats in an uptight and locked position as the mothership comes to a landing. And also, don't forget to
diversify your bonds.
Konnichiwa, bitches.